16,000 Amazon employees lost their jobs in January, 14,000 more are scheduled to follow in the next 10 weeks, and the same AI agent took every single one of them. Here is the map for the next 10 minutes. The 30,000 Amazon jobs, the product release that made it possible, the companies that will copy this playbook in the next 90 days, the capital that is paying for the switch, and the unpopular bet on who goes next. January 2026, 16,000 Amazon corporate employees laid off. Product managers, program managers, technical staff, most of AWS consolidated, May 2026. Internal documents confirm another 14,000 cuts scheduled for the second quarter. That is 30,000 corporate jobs gone in one company in 18 months. 30,000, the total Amazon corporate jobs being eliminated. Roughly the population of a small American city. One company, 18 months. Amazon's official statement said the goal is, quote, reducing layers, increasing ownership, removing bureaucracy, end quote. Watch what is missing from that sentence. There is no plan to backfill the work. The work is being done by something else. Here is what replaced them, according to reporting on the AWS restructure. Small clusters of senior engineers using Claude Sonnet are now managing workloads that previously required dozens of employees. The reorg is not a cost cut, it is a labor model swap. One senior engineer plus Claude Sonnet, doing the work of 30 mid-level employees. That is the ratio Amazon's restructure is betting on, and it is in production already. And there is something even harder buried in the coverage. Sources say the workflow recordings of the laid-off employees, their prompt libraries, their step-by-step playbooks were used to train the AI agents that took their seats. Quote, the recordings, the prompt libraries, the training datasets, these were fed directly into the very AI agents destined to replace them. End quote. Read that sentence twice. Pull back for a second. This is not Amazon being unique. This is Amazon being first. The playbook is now public. Every chief financial officer at every Fortune 500 company saw the same memo this week, and the memo is short. Quote, the first round of AI layoffs was about cost. This round is about replacement. End quote. But that is not even the biggest story, because the AI agents Amazon is using did not exist in their current form 10 weeks ago. Something shipped that changed the math, and the mainstream coverage missed it. May 6th, Anthropic Code with Claude Developer Conference. Anthropic shipped a feature called Dreaming. The mainstream coverage missed how big this is. It is the feature that makes managed agents production ready at enterprise scale. Read it carefully. Here is what Dreaming does. While the agent is idle, overnight, on a schedule, it reviews its past sessions, merges duplicate memories, removes the outdated ones, identifies recurring mistakes, curates what it learned. The agent wakes up smarter than it went to sleep. 6 times the increase in task completion rate at Harvey, the legal AI company, after implementing Dreaming, real production data, not a demo number. 50%. The reduction in document review time at Wisedocs, medical document processing, same feature, same Dreaming process. Quote, the agent wakes up smarter than the agent that went to sleep. That is the moment AI labor becomes durable. End quote. And read the second move. 2 features moved from research preview into public beta the same day. Outcomes and multi-agent orchestration. Translation. Anthropic is now shipping production-grade autonomy at scale with governance, with audit trails, with Chief Information Security Officer approval. The new stack put the framing in writing this week, quote, Anthropic just made managed agents the next enterprise battleground. End quote. The battle is not capability, the battle is governance. Who owns the agent learning loop? Who owns the audit trail? And OpenAI did not stay silent. GPT 5.5 Instant became the new default in ChatGPT this week. 52.5% reduction in hallucinations, plus 3 new real-time audio models. Real-time 2, real-time translate, real-time whisper. The factuality bar just moved. 52.5%, the drop in hallucination rate of GPT 5.5 Instant versus the previous default model. That is enterprise production grade, not consumer benchmark theater. Stay with me, because the agent technology is one half of the story, the other half is who copies Amazon next, and that list is longer than people realize. Pull back, Amazon is not alone. Meta cut more than 3,700 this year, Oracle cut 3,000, Microsoft over 6,000, Google over 12,000. The total across big tech crossed 100,000 jobs in 2026 so far, and we are 5 months in. Here is the math the chief financial officers are running. A senior engineer is $200,000 to $300,000 per year. A Claude Code Max seat is $6,000 per year, even if the agent only does 40% of the work. The ratio is brutal on a spreadsheet. 50 times the cost ratio between one senior engineer plus one Claude Code seat versus one engineer alone working without an agent. The math is impossible to ignore on a board deck, and the supply side is racing in. This week, xAI announced Grok Build, their first coding agent. Direct challenge to Claude Code and Codex. 3 serious coding agents now competing for the seat that replaces the engineer that got cut last quarter. Quote, whoever wins the coding agent does not win the developer market. Whoever wins the coding agent wins the entire labor budget, end quote. Which roles are getting cut? Not what you would guess. Customer support, already mostly gone. Quality assurance, halved. Junior legal review, halved at Harvey. Documentation writers, 80% gone. Junior data analysts, replaced by Claude Code plus one senior. The pattern repeats across industries. And the customer revenue tells the story. Anthropic hit $30 billion in annualized recurring revenue in April, up from $9 billion at the end of last year. Over 500 companies are now spending more than $1 million a year, each on Anthropic alone. 500 plus, the number of enterprises now spending over $1 million per year on Anthropic. The customer base is consolidated, it is real, and it is growing fast. Fortune reporting this week, Anthropic now leads OpenAI in paid corporate adoption rate. Not free signups, not consumer ChatGPT chats. The seats that get billed, the seats that replace people. The renewal cycle is in September. Watch that number. Pull back for a second, because the labor shift requires capital, and the capital is moving faster than the layoff announcements. Here is the part nobody is connecting. Anthropic just committed $200 billion to Google over 5 years for cloud and chips, combined with the 5 gigawatts of dedicated TPU capacity, plus the AWS allocation. Anthropic now controls 10 gigawatts of compute, more than any AI lab outside OpenAI. 10 gigawatts, the compute footprint Anthropic now owns. To put that in scale, enough to power roughly 7 million American homes, dedicated to one AI lab. And Google made the inverse bet, up to $40 billion in Anthropic. 10 billion now, 30 billion contingent on performance milestones. The post-money valuation, $350 billion as of April. The new round talks, 950. And here is the chip side, Tuesday, May 20th. Nvidia reports fiscal Q1, guidance on the table, $78 billion in revenue, 77% growth from a year ago. The rails that are running every one of these AI agents, $78 billion. The Nvidia revenue guide for the current quarter alone. The plumbing under every agent that took every Amazon seat. The plumbing is profitable. Here is the loop. Nvidia sells the chips, the hyperscalers buy them, the hyperscalers rent them to Anthropic. Anthropic runs Claude Code. Enterprises like Amazon buy Claude Code seats, they use them to replace employees. The labor cost savings funds the next chip order. Quote, the AI CapEx story and the AI layoff story are the same story, different decks, same financial logic, end quote. And Meta locked in another $21 billion with CoreWeave, same week, some of the first Vera Rubin racks. Total Meta to CoreWeave compute relationship now $35 billion. The build out is accelerating, not slowing. Pull back. Every laid-off white-collar worker did not just lose a paycheck, they paid for the compute that replaced them through the recordings and prompt libraries they generated, through the agent training data they sat next to for years. That is the deeper trade. Stay with me, because the last act is the unpopular bet. Who goes next? Which roles? And what to actually do if you are watching this with a job in tech right now. Here is the unpopular bet, the next wave of cuts. It is not coders, it is not customer support, it is not analysts. Those are already mostly gone. The next wave is product managers, project managers, the middle layer of management. The same titles Amazon cut 16,000 of in January. Same titles, same tool, different company. And the playbook is becoming public. Step 1, pick one division. Cut 20% of the middle layer. Step 2, hand the work to a senior engineer plus Claude Code. Step 3, measure for 1 quarter. Step 4, repeat across every other division. 12 months. The window before this playbook hits every other Fortune 500 company. After Amazon proves the math, the chief financial officer at every peer already has the slides. And the customer evidence is already in. 500 plus enterprises paying $1 million plus to Anthropic. They are not buying it for engineering productivity, they are buying it for the labor cost line. That is the line that gets cut at the next earnings call. If you are working in tech, here is the builder takeaway. The middle layer is the target. The senior individual contributor seat is the moat. The agent operator seat is the new growth role. The job is no longer to write the code yourself. The job is to supervise 5 Claude Code agents at once. 3 things to watch over the next 90 days. 1. The 14,000 Amazon second wave actually lands as confirmed. 2. The first Fortune 100 non-tech company copies the playbook publicly. Healthcare, finance, law. 3. The May 20th Nvidia number. Anything above 79 billion guide. Quote, the agent did not take your job. The board deck took your job. The agent just made the math impossible to argue with. End quote. We wrote this up in full on the site. Every number, every primary source, every link. The article is live now at anlive.com/news. The labor model, the capital, the playbook, all sourced. 30,000 Amazon jobs gone or going. The agent that took them is in public beta. The playbook is now in every chief financial officer's inbox. This is the new normal. 1 story, 10 minutes, 0 hype. This was AI News Now.